Hey, Jarrell, this grandma. I want to return your call. Sorry it took me so long. But I hope all is well with you in school. And you done what needs to be done with yourself, taking care of yourself, protecting yourself. I pray that God continue to bless you and guide you and protect you from any hurt, harm, and danger. I love you, babe. Grandma, talk to you later. Mwah.
Because I was a young black woman in a director position, and I felt like didn't really know too much about my job. I had to actually fight my way to the top. So it was hard for me because before I got in that position, I never knew nothing about it. So it was a position that I was getting in that it was a lot of it was a culture shock for me. I would say race because in the position that I was in, it was only one black person in the position that I was in. And then with that being said, all of them was men. So I was the first director to be in the position, first young black director in the position that I was in.
Because I think as a female, being a Bennett female is like it's only expected to be at this level, not like this level. Like we're not expected to be married and to be successful women. As long as we take care of our kids, regardless of how many we have and how many we have them by, it doesn't matter. As long as we just take care of the kids. So I wouldn't think that we have expectations as females in my family. And everything we do, whether it's high school diploma or college diploma or PhD, graduate school, whatever. It's like, oh, okay. But if a male dude, it was like, oh my God, he graduated from college, it's very different.
When I first opened up my store, what made me want to have my own business because I wanted to leave something for my children. I wanted to leave something behind for them. That's kind of a hard question for me because I've always been like on my own. I never really looked for support when it came to my family. So I was always like, I always been on my own. So I can't say if they support me or not because I never really looked for support in my family. I think my motivation was my family really not supporting me. So that motivated me to do what I needed to do. One of my best memories was when I had my kids. That was the best time for me. When I had my daughter and when I had my son.
But I do raise my daughters though to treat everybody equal and kind and not judge people by the color of their skin. You got to get to know somebody first. Don't go off of what other people tell you. Get to know them. No matter if they're black, white, or other, it doesn't matter. They got to bridge the gap somewhere. I don't like the way that a lot of schools are set up to where it's like predominantly black schools. Because when you get into the real world, you have to deal with white people. And a lot of kids that grow up and go to school in predominantly black schools, they don't have any interactions with white people except for teachers, and that's also their superiors too. So like me, I went to school with white people, so I know how they are. I can interact with them. But as far as like, I feel like my girls, they went to a predominantly black school. I always tell them, like when you get in the real world, most of your bosses and supervisors are going to be white people. So the gap got to start being bridged as children. You can't wait till they get to be adults to do it. Because by then you set in your ways and it's too late.
My favorite thing to do when I was young would be to hang out, especially with my oldest brother. Of course, you know he passed, but just hanging out with him. Period. Like we used to climb on top of houses, climb trees, go to the creek, and skip rocks or whatever. And I can remember as a kid waiting on the season to change, especially when the fall came around. Like the air used to be so crisp, and I just like run down the street just to get my lungs filled with air. It was like such a welcoming feeling in my lungs. Like now I don't get that because I can barely see the season change. Recognize, oh, it's hot this day and it's cold this day.
You are Africa, you wondrous creature, and Africa knows no bounds. Don't pretend to be civilized, for the wild animals daring you to swim.
I'm just me. I'm just a free spirit. No matter what kind of hair I have or short, long, whatever. I may wake up tomorrow and want long hair. It just depends on how I feel. As far as others taken from our culture, I think no one can be who you are. Like, I'm a black woman, so no one can be me. I am who I am. Financial freedom. Because growing up, they don't teach us finances. They don't teach us how to manage money. So growing up, you get money. The first thing you want to do is spend it. It's not about putting away or saving it for something or buying something that you really want. It's impulse. You buy what you want right then. I would teach them, how to manage it better. I mean, open up a bank account, things like
One of my personal journey to marriage was trust. It was trusting somebody to take care of me, because I always been independent. I always took care of myself. So for me to relinquish that to somebody else was the hardest thing that I could ever do, to let somebody take care of me, because I was used to taking care of myself. I've been on my own and taking care of myself since I was 14. All I said, we better work and get our own businesses. We better work and we better have our own businesses. We better, in education, we need to educate ourselves. Definitely education.
Tell me how the story goes. Tell me it's my turn. I'm reading off all the pages. Tell me where the water flows. Tell me it's my turn. I'm really sick of the ice ages.
I don't think I ever was like, reminded that I was a black girl. Everybody always treat me the same, and I always demand that. Don't let nobody talk to me different or treat me different than they would treat anybody else. So, however you present yourself is how people would respect you.
It was not easy because, first of all, I had to come to grips with him being gay myself. Like, for the longest, I didn't want to accept it. Like, I beat myself up, like, what did I do wrong? Or after a while, it was okay. But now I still worry because, like I tell him all the time, the world's not acceptable of people being gay. Like, everybody's don't like gays. Like, they have a problem with you. But at the end of the day, they're still my son. And like some family members, they are okay, but you can tell the ones that's like frown at my son when he comes around or whatever. But this is life. My mom, she's taught me so much. Like she's pretty much the strongest person I've known in 43 years of being here. Like, she's that dope.
Today I'll be demonstrating for you how to make a good clay facial mask. I've been doing this ever since the big chalk. Make sure you give it a good wrist turn. Look at the whisk. So I just eyeball it because I've been doing this for so long. You just naturally grow into it. However much that is, about 2 tablespoons, an ounce, or whatever. But I'm doing my sister's face and mine, so today I'm gonna give a little extra. Now notice I only have plastic products. You cannot use metal products. They will clog up. Now usually I use apple cider vinegar, but my face has become more sensitive ever since summer came. So I'm gonna use water today. It's a greenish, brownish color. It's what the ancient Indian people used back in the day. I'm gonna add a little bit more as I go. You gotta use a specific spoon or fork. You can use spoon, whatever. Like I said, no metal, no metal. You just keep mixing. I'll fast forward this part later on in the video. To get my links about the hair part, because you can put this in your hair too, click the link below. Gotta get all the knots out.
I hope I can be heard in this talk. But another thing I want to say is you're important because they're important because they're my roots. You know, I was just telling my mom, I was telling about what Tiffany Haddish shit said on that little documentary movie, Chelsea, about white privilege. And Tiffany Haddish was like, you got both of your parents and you know your history at least 100 years back. I don't have that. So from birth, I am not privileged. I lack a privilege already just from being born. I don't get to know my history. It's been erased.
I never experienced racism until I started working at my last job. And I went to school with white people all my life, and I never experienced it until I went to that job. And it was weird to me because I was so used to, you know, being around white people and having them as my superiors. But this was just different, a different kind of white people. Which I ain't saying black people aren't the same way, because they are. Because sometimes once people hold certain positions in power, they let it go to the head. And it's a lot for them. But it was only at my job, and I feel like if certain black people they didn't like me, I'm very outspoken, I'm gonna say what I want to say, and they don't like that. They want you to be passive and yes ma'am and no ma'am, and I'm not that person.
I initially, when I graduated from Lawson in 2004, I initially went to Miles. I registered at Miles in 2005. I never went. I went back January of 2015. And what made me go back was because I wanted better for me and my kids. You know, I mean, we never had a bad living situation, but I always wanted better for them. So I knew that by me going back to school, bettering myself in my education, it would put me higher. So I went back, got my degree. And, you know, I got a pretty good job now, but I want to go back to school now because at UAB, they pay for you to go to school. So it's free. I don't have to get more debt. So that's one of the reasons. But I always wanted to further my education. And, I mean, school is the best way to do that. Like now, like a bachelor's degree is like an associate's degree. So you have to, you know, in order to move up, you have to secure that education because that's the first thing they look at. I went to school from 8 to 11. I worked from 12 to 9. And this was basically every day. I worked every weekend for 2 years straight because I had to be off during the week to take care of the boys and things like that. So I had to make sure that they was taken care of. When I got home, I had to make sure somebody took them to the extracurricular activities and things like that. And I mean, when I got off work, I went home, made sure they was okay. I went to school, did homework. I was up by 4:30, 5 o'clock, making sure they was ready to go to school. Dropped them off at school. I went to school. Same routine every day. On the weekends, I work mostly from 9 to 6. So I work Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 6, and then started my week over again. So.
Make my last wish.
Come on.
The little flower is shining. So beautiful. White people would get promotions before you that were not as qualified as you, that hadn't been there none of the amount of time that you have been there. You're like, why would Patsy get it and I didn't get it? I've been here 10 years and she's been working for 1 year. I mean, like, I'm way overqualified, more than her of the job, but they have their picks and chooses, and sometimes you got to let it be. It is what it is. Even though that's not right, I'm not saying it's right because it's not, but that's just how it is sometimes. They could have no political experience, none whatsoever. Most times it's usually who you know. And by them always being the superior in everything, therefore their forefathers were already put in place. And I feel like a lot of times Black women get overlooked just because you're a Black woman. I don't care how many degrees and letters you have behind your name. I feel like when white people see you, they still see a little Black girl. So, I feel like a lot of times Black women are overlooked just because they're Black. When white women, blonde hair, blue eyes, will always have the advantage just because they're white, not because they know more than you or anything like that. That's why I stress so much to my children and nieces and nephews. You have to go to college, because without those letters and degrees, you're really not going to be anything. You need those to say, well, at least I have this.
All waterfalls are temporary. That's the way I feel. The exact way. Like the fact that water is falling, but only because something was ruined. A piece of land that was once even connected has been divided. Okay.
Most of the time, I relax by either reading, doing activities with my boys. Absolutely, I'm a full-time mom and wife. However, it's very important to take the time out for yourself. You get so caught up in the wrap of everyday life that if we fail to do so, I think it interferes with who we really are. I was raised with young men who did have a father in their life, but he wasn't in the household. However, on my part of being married and me having a spouse with 3 boys, I do think it was a huge benefit for me, or it is a huge benefit for me and my boys. Because I don't think half of the things that I've instilled in them could have been productive had I not had a spouse. I had my first son at the age of 16. I was very, very young. There was a critical point in my life where I felt like everything around me was caving in. I really had no guidance as far as to what it was that I should have done, because everyone around me were out trying to get their own adventure out of who they should have become. And now that I've had him and seeing him mold into the young man that he is, I don't regret ever having him. But my life would have definitely been different had I not had it.
Okay, I'm going to answer.
Okay, I feel like a feminist is basically, in one word, a male or a female that basically believes in sexual equality. Say that question again.
Okay, what is something that white people need to know about Black people in order to better our society?
The first thing that would come to mind is our history, but they know that they get taught that in school. So It's sad, but to be honest, I don't think that there's nothing that they could know about us that they already don't know about us. They know all our history, they know what we've been through. So I don't feel like there's anything that a white person could know about a black person to better our society that they don't already know about us, and it's already in shambles.
Our neighbor, she racist. When we about to scrimmage at open gym, the boys don't really be wanting girls on their team because they feel like we can't do it, but we really can. So yeah. Say a policeman, you see a black girl and a white girl, they friends. He gonna ask the black girl, did you just shoplift out of this store before he asked the white girl? Because that's what our society is about. Well, that's what we see on the internet. So we gonna think that, oh, he just didn't. He asked me first because I'm black. Yeah.
I definitely feel like my family could have been more supportive. But I also think at the same time that they were giving me all that they could possibly give as far as support, but not having that structure or guidance that I really, really need, if that makes sense. I'm working on a couple of things. I definitely plan to be in a better place. Where I am now, I'm really comfortable and complacent. So within 5 years, I really feel as though I need to, or I will have maximized where I want to be. Growing up without a mom or a father, because I have neither, was very, very critical for me. However, it didn't become critical to me because at that age, I had my grandmother and my grandfather, who I grew up to know as mom and dad. So it didn't become critical for me until the both of them passed away. I held so much anger, but I think mostly because of no one ever really sat down to tell me or to fully deliver the story of what happened. A lot of things in my childhood I never really understood, or I never understand. Starting with my name, and that could come with me being with my dad's parents versus my mom's parents, Yes, growing up outside of the Bennett's was definitely different. Now that I see my cousins and my sister, do I think it was positive or more negative? I think it was both. Simply because I'm in a family where my dad's side were telling me stories about my mom's side, and my mom's side was telling me stories about my dad's side, until I grew up to realize, hey, you both are very toxic when it comes to sides, instead of trying to really heal me and nurture me in the way that I should. But on the outskirts of it, it is what it is, day by day. I still have a void that probably will never be filled, but I always try to take it and I try to tuck it somewhere and keep it sealed up. Does it help? Sometimes. Am I bitter about it? Not anymore, but it took me a long time to get to where I am, to really understand and be able to face both sides of growing up without parents. Do I think it compares to slavery? Absolutely. How do I feel about it? I don't feel as if it's right. I do feel like we're living in a world now where the system is very corrupt. It very much so targets the black community. Why I feel like that? I feel like racism has never left, which it hasn't, but I think it's starting to resurface, and it's very, very bad. You get a lot of people stating that it's black on black crime, but it's a lot of white on white crime also. It's just that they want to throw the rock and hide their hands, but the black people are waiting to be exposed to it. I don't feel as if the system will ever be right, and I say this all the time, because if I'm out there and I take someone's life, I get less time for murdering somebody than me trying to sell a dime bag to a brother on the street for $10. You put me away for life because I sold him a $10 dime bag. But over here, you can take somebody's life and you get 5 years. No, I don't think it's right. It's not going to ever be right. Girl, I didn't start wearing makeup until, for myself, after I was married. So that was after 22. My cousins used to put some on me every now and then, but I didn't feel as if I needed it. I really don't know these steps as to apply makeup. I just play with it. I don't have to wear it because it's not who I am. And I just wear it because I like the different colors. It doesn't enhance me because I'm already beautiful. So I can go with it or I can go without it. It doesn't affect me in that way. Limitations. Know your limitations. Definitely know your worth. Push yourself. Nothing comes easy. When you work hard for it, you appreciate it more. The sky is the limit. If you dream it, you can achieve it. You know, it's not gonna come easy. It's not gonna happen overnight. You don't want anything that's gonna be handed out to you. So you definitely want to work hard for it. But definitely know your worth and push yourself to the limits. That's what I would say.
I mean, initially it angers me, but I have to think, you know, I'm raising 3 young boys, so I have to make sure that they're aware of the dangers that's out there. Having a 17-year-old, Malachi, he really don't go out like that. So, you know, I mean, I still tell him, like, I need to know where you at, or you need to let someone know where you at and who you with. Like, if you get in the car with somebody, somebody needs to know where you are and who you're with. You know, you can't just leave because you don't know. They see 3 or 4 black boys in the car and pull y'all over. You know, we not knowing where you are. You could be one of those boys, you know, that the statistics. So, you know, I just tell them, just be aware, just make sure you communicate. Like, that's the main thing. That's why you have a cell phone, communicate. You don't answer your phone initially, I'm going into panic mode. You know, because, I mean, I'm here, you there. If you don't answer your phone, I don't know what's going on, you know. So I just tell them, just be aware of their surroundings and just answer your phone and give me a call if you're going somewhere where I don't know where you're going. Like, you know, you can say you're going to this place and you go with somebody else, then I don't know where you at. You know, just communicate. That's just all it is. I would say Michelle Obama, because she is awesome. She's an awesome woman. I mean, just to be in that position, your husband is the president of the United States. 8 years, no scandals, no outside kids, no, you know, no none of that. Like, just how did you deal with just coming from where you came from to there? Like, you just all of a sudden you just put in this situation and you got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, being there with him and for him through all of this, like, how did you deal with it? And you put your life on hold for him.
That I don't think people feel like I have like this big heart. Like, I don't want to be loved. Like, I just want to play or be played with forever. Like, that's not me. Like, I know it's somebody out there for me, and I'll find love eventually, or love will find me. But it's like every day is hard. It's lonely, pretty much. So that's the way I look at it. Mm-hmm. But people look at me and see this big smile, like everything's okay. But no, on the inside, it's like I'm lonely, and I ain't gonna say I'm not happy because I'm happy. I'm just lonely. That's about it.
I don't think it's too late. Your words are all I taste. You're the food on my plate, and I take it in every time. I don't think you're too old. In fact, I think you're too gold. Won't you call it found and stick around even when it's cold? 'Cause you're my sugar, my honey, my money in my pocket. I lock it, but you won't quit. You could own the whole wide world, but you only take half of it. I know they think that they know. Clock strikes, you watch them go. But time carries on, and I take it in every time. I know you think that you're grown. You look up, you're 10 feet tall. But you're still in the walls, your ceiling shakes, but it don't fall. Still you're my sugar, my honey, my money in my pocket. I lock it, but you won't quit. You could own the whole wide world, but you'd only take half of it. You've got little girls who like what you do. Take me back when I saw Jasmine getting tattooed. You've got little pearls. Do you know what you do? Take them back to Aladdin getting the flu. When you feel sadness, do you know what to do? Think about the little girls who are in love with you. So I don't think it's too late. Your scars and all that hate, it's still the food on my plate, and I take it in every time. I don't think you're too old. Got the crown, it's made of gold. Won't you call it found and stick around even when it's cold? 'Cause ain't it funny, my honey, the money in your pocket, you lock it, but it won't fit. You could change the whole wide world, but you'd only know half of it. But you're my sugar, my mommy, the sunny in my pocket, I like it, so don't you quit. When you own the whole wide world, only you can give me half of it. When you own the whole wide world, only queens can handle it. Thank you for watching.